Hello and happy Spring Festival, or Lunar New Year, or Chinese New Year, whatever you call it. The traditions of Chinese New Year always bring an annual celebration of family, fun and plenty of festivals. And though habits may change over time, the key focus does remain bringing in the new year with the people who matter the most. So how will the upcoming Year of the Pig be anticipated, and how will it be celebrated? How does this holiday strengthen bonds of family and Chinese culture around the world? And what new trends are showing up in the 2019 Spring Festival? To explore these topics and more, I'm happy to be joined in the studio by Professor Tung Jimeng from Beijing Foreign Studies University, and we'll also be talking via satellite to the former Taiwan legislator Joanna Lei in Taipei and the intercultural critic Joanna Cheng in New York. That's our topic. This is Dialogue. I'm Jeff Moody. Professor Tung, let's start with you. Guonian Hao.
Guonian Hao.
Now, this is my third Spring Festival in China, and it seems to me that it's about three things: family, family, and family. Is that right?
Well, absolutely. This is the most important, I think, occasion for family reunion, family celebration, and family togetherness. I mean, these three things are almost quintessential Chinese culture and Chinese core value. I mean, you stay with the family, you celebrate with the family, and you, most importantly, you eat with the family.
What if somebody doesn't want to go home to their family? Is it possible for people at Spring Festival to do something completely different and not travel from one end of the country to the other to see their family?
Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, with younger people, actually with more money to spend, they would spend their their New Year in, for example, in different places, with friends, traveling overseas and stay put in the city, enjoying the fun and prosperity of the city. And so it's a change the habits of the heart. I mean, if it is not the changing tradition. So we are now witnessing a changed way of thinking and changed way of behaving, and also the change is also reflected on the part of the parents. I mean, for example, my parents wouldn't say, well, you must come home and celebrate the things with me. No.
Well, let's talk about change then. Let's bring in Joanna Cheng, who's in New York. Joanna, one of the big changes, of course, is that traditionally everybody leaves the towns, they go home to the rural villages to spend time with their parents. I mean, I remember last year walking along the middle of the third ring road in Beijing, and it was so quiet. It was like there'd been a disaster. There was nobody in town. The town belonged to me, I felt. But now there seems to be a shift, and more people from the villages are coming into the towns, aren't they?
Well, I would like to say family reunion, family get-together is still the way to go. When you say the changing trend, I would believe they would move as a unity. They would move as a whole unit. For instance, my brother and the whole family is traveling together. Maybe the location has been changed, but the traditional value of meeting family members, have a cohesion or a time of healing, time to visit ancestor in terms of tracing the past, that is still the way to go. Otherwise, you would be considered an unfilial or even a rebel in a society, if not in the family.
So it's something that goes right back to
That's my
filial
point of view.
piety, right back to the whole Confucius thing about how...
Well, that's the core of the Chinese society.
Yeah. Joanna Lei in Taipei, is that the same in Taipei as it is on the mainland?
Well, absolutely the same in the family aspect, but in Taipei we have two additional aspects. One is it belongs to the business world. Lunar New Year is also a time for all the bosses to show appreciation of their employees. So there will be massive banquets held for the entire employee group, as well as massive red packets, money given to show appreciation. And the third aspect is that young people engage in massive merrymaking. So love, appreciation, and merrymaking are the three main aspects of Lunar New Year in Taipei, in Taiwan.
That sounds great. Love and merrymaking in particular sound wonderful. Professor Tung in Beijing, of course, the other thing that people have to do, as well as go home on New Year's Eve, is to watch the CCTV gala. And for those people that have never spent New Year, Chinese New Year in China, they might not understand how important that is. This is the most watched TV show on the planet, isn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, this is once again the occasion for family members to sit down before TV and watch. I mean, it's almost like a replacement, almost like a substitute of eating together at the table. And so eating at the table requires this very physical intimacy. I mean, you and I must sit around the table, but then watching the gala doesn't mean you have to watch around this very table. For example, I mean, my brother can watch back home in a northeastern part of China. I can watch this gala here in Beijing, but then the idea that we were watching the same thing is important and still represent the kind of a sameness, togetherness.
Well, yes, I mean, we have that a little bit in the UK, because on Christmas Day at 3 p.m. everybody sits down and watches the Queen's speech,
Right.
but that only sort of lasts a couple of minutes. The gala is a huge affair that lasts most of the evening, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so the gala managed to bring together all kinds of people, all kinds of customs, and all kinds of art and performances. And so in this way, I mean, the gala unites the nation around the table before TV and before this very event. This once again, the togetherness and the being together and to enjoy the fun. I mean, the idea is fun. I mean, you watch, for example, this comic dialogue, this stand-up comedy. I mean, you laugh with them, you laugh around with the family. And so at the same time, it's also about this very filial piety, because the message conveyed by these shows also are reflections and representations of the idea of eating together, for example, wearing the same clothes, the clothes of the same color, and also talk about the same thing.
So, Joanna Cheng, it's important then that this event, watching the gala, unites everybody in the country. It's the ultimate water cooler moment, isn't it?
But I personally feel the gala has increasingly become a backdrop of the family activities. I think dumpling eating has its ultimate significance. And if you know, the idea of Chinese New Year is we're trying to fight away this beast who is trying to disturb the villagers or the people. So that's why all these people are wearing red and lighting up fireworks and also beating drums and having lion dancings. All these activities are human interaction with each other. The gala is a beautiful way of presenting art and performances, but in a way it could be propaganda too. So people, I mean, enjoy themselves, I think, much more. And but I enjoy very much the gala. I would like to see more creativity with the gala.
Well, I think it's very interesting that what you were saying, Professor Tung, about the gala having a message. It's not just whether it's propaganda or not, I don't want to get into, but if it has a message that unites everybody in China. But one thing that I've heard from talking to people in the 3 years that I've been here, after the gala, I say to particularly young people, oh, what did you think of the gala last night? And they sort of go, oh. It's something that they have to sit through. Is that the case? Do you think that younger people sort of traditionally have to watch the gala, but would really rather be doing something else?
Well, it happens. Absolutely, it happens. But young people seems to be having shorter attention spans, yes. And they're also tech savvy, and they want to see something.
They're too busy on their phones, aren't they? That's the problem.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. They can also watch them on their iPhones, on their smartphones of all kinds. I mean, so try to come up with something new. I mean, visualizing this new gala in a new way. I mean, by using technology, by offering the kind of individualized sort of performance, instead of the old traditional people in this Changpao, Changsam, the kind of lots of traditional bows and stuff, right? I mean, try to work something creative, like Joanne said. I mean, work something creative into this very performance.
Joanna Lei in Taipei, let's look a little bit about how Taipei does it compared to the mainland. I mean, you have, there's an awful lot of bonding, isn't there, between Taiwan and the mainland at this time of year. It's a time to share cultures a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, well, certainly I wore red. I brought red packet, and I also brought gifts. Those are very important elements to share your joy and appreciation and good luck to people around you. In Taiwan, in recent years, actually, a lot of people enjoy the gala you just described and discussed, we probably saw some different aspects of it. One is the increasing element of tech savviness. The gala in recent years have a lot of tech elements in it, and the other one is the increasing open access. To be on the gala becomes someone's hopes and dreams. So there are programs for everyday people to take their talents and be a part of that national celebration. So probably from afar, we still see the gala as a fairly nice message to all the people and families trying to sit down together and enjoy this very unique moment that
Is it still
the entire
entertaining, Joanna?
people is
Are you still
showing
entertained by it?
solidarity and showing celebration. Well, I think we're very entertained, especially by the increasing tech element in it. The technology and the production value in the gala is still bar none. No other, I used to work for ABC in New York, and I don't think in the wildest dream we could put on something with such a massive technology and deployment of new production values.
Let's, Professor Tung, let's talk about red packets. We were hearing about them there. So traditionally, for people that don't know, a red packet is literally a paper packet that's coloured red that has money in it.
Yep.
So who gives the red packet to whom? And how much money is it acceptable to give?
Well, I mean, it's a long story, but back to this very ancient story. I mean, it's all called the sui, ya sui qie. I mean, sui is the beast, right? And it's the animal, the wild animal that eats up the whole village. And so by giving money to children, you are using this very money to suppress this very beast in order to protect people, to protect young children from this very danger and harm of this very beast. And so now with this red packet, I mean, usually I would give out 1,000. Some people would give out 500.
You'd give out 1,000 yuan?
1,000 yuan. I mean, it's supposed to be the very last money, the very final sum of money you gave to these very loved ones. And so it's not, I mean, I don't give money regularly to my relatives or people I love, but then this is the very most precious moments.
But how many people do you have to give 1,000 yuan to in your family? Is this a case of your wife, your children, your parents, your brothers, your sisters?
Right. Your most loved ones in the family, for example. If I have a child, I give the money to my child. If my brother have a child, and then, for example, I should give the child this money. You're not supposed to give red packets to all people you know. I mean, it's only your immediate family members, and so that's why you give money, and sometimes a very large sum of money.
Joanna Chang, is there an expectation these days then from younger people that they're going to receive a large amount of money every Spring Festival in a red packet?
I am very concerned about this red pocket money giving phenomenon in China. You know, China has become economically very powerful, so there's no shortage of money. The shortage is morality. The shortage is family unity. The shortage is remembrance of the past, tracing history. This huge amount of money being exchanged, I personally do not like it. I will never give $1,000 yuan to anyone who does not really communicate with me just because this is my niece, this is my daughter. I would just give this money. This money problem is a modern problem of China. I think we should have more religion, more beliefs, more tradition. That is why we have this national strategy of learning from the traditional culture. That's, I think, is a topic today, right? I think to just this money issue is really a very a sore point in modern Chinese history. I'm enlarging the issue, but it is a problem from my point of view.
Okay, Joanna Lei in Taipei, would you give 1,000 yuan to your closest relatives?
Depends on who they are. I actually give more to my parents. But I do agree that you cannot value or measure love between families by money, and that has to be tempered with some other moral elements in it. However, in Taiwan, we also have another tradition. It's very much like year-end bonus given to people who help you out. So we also give to people who are typically in the lowest level of the company, the janitors, the one who sweep your floor, people who help you out, your drivers. You know, during that time, bosses will give them an additional red packet in addition to the year-end bonus, just to show personal appreciation. Like I said, it's a time for love, appreciation, and merrymaking.
One very quick final word on red packets, because of course nowadays when everything's on WeChat, Weixin, and on your computer, red packets aren't literally just red packets, are they? They're little things that come on your app, and, and you can send money very quickly that way, can't you, electronically?
Yeah, I mean, that was also one way to give up the love and give up the appreciation. For example, I would give out the red packet to taxi drivers. I mean, to my Didi driver, and perhaps to the people, actually the janitors in our apartment building. And so it's an easy way to make these things available. I mean, love used to be constrained with one family and one community and perhaps one larger household. Nowadays, with WeChat, it's available to everyone.
I will give you my WeChat very shortly, and you can send me 1,000 yuan.
I will send the paper money, right? The paper money.
Yeah. For now, thank you very much indeed. After the break, we're going to be looking at how people do it abroad if they're Chinese and they live somewhere far away. What's Spring Festival like in foreign climes? Join us in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Dialogue with me, Jeff Moody. We're talking all things Spring Festival here, and I want to bring in my guest Joanna Lei, who is in Taipei for us. Hello again to you, Joanna. Thank you for staying with us. If you live abroad, say you live in the West, you live in England, you live in France, you live in America, but you're Chinese, how difficult can it be? Because I know from a Western point of view, at Christmas, when you're alone at Christmas, you're away from your family, it can be incredibly hard, incredibly lonely. Is that the same thing for the Chinese?
Yes, absolutely. I actually lived abroad for 20 years, 16 years in the United States, 10 years in New York. During those years, Chinese New Year was a very difficult time because I was alone in a lonely city, but New York has a very massive sort of immigrant community. There are a lot of people sharing the Chinese New Year together. So we make surrogate families. Not your own family, but friends who share the same culture, same values, and same homesickness with you. And we made a lot of surrogate family feasts, dinners, parties, and to make do with the Chinese New Year. However, I do believe that festivities, cultural events, are the fiber of a race, of a people. So sharing those moments make us unique, and also at the same time allow us to share our uniqueness with the larger host community that we live in, and allow the other people to better understand what Chinese culture is about. So it's a fantastic time. We hold parties for our American friends, and we actually put on shows, festivities, to share our culture with our American friends.
Yes, it's interesting what you say, because it's the same thing for me at Christmas. I've spent 2 Christmases in Beijing, and it is very weird. You know, you feel a bit strange being away from home, but you do make so much of an effort to try and enjoy it that you end up having wonderful times. Joanna Cheng, you're in New York. You're a long way from the motherland right now, but you're close to a Chinatown. So I presume that the center of activities in New York is Chinatown. Am I right?
Well, Chinatown is a very good microcosm of Chinese immigrant community. We have in Chinatown not only a lot of restaurants where you can taste delicious food, we also have Chinese museums, and we also have Chinese temples. And all these cultural elements one should really enjoy to really make a connection with one's heritage. Here I emphasize one need to make a connection with the heritage, because I personally feel with all these gatherings or with all these eatings, a lot of time it could be very superficial. And I personally think we should, as a Chinese descendant, we need to remember the past. We need to seek a connection with the roots. And I think that's the most important thing in Chinese New Year or any other days. And it's just not a superficial time. Gathering together with friends and family, or when your family is not around you, is indeed very good. But you need to make contribution to society by understanding your own past. So I would like to say a Chinese New Year is a time of family get-together. It's also a time for self-reflection, and also for time to seek your roots.
And, Joanna Cheng, showcasing China to the outside world? Because one of the first memories I have of China, one of the first things I learned about China was about Chinese New Year, because there are so many events, cultural events, around the world at this time of year, that Chinese New Year isn't just something that the Chinese celebrate, it's China saying, here we are, we're China. How important is that to you, Joanna Cheng?
Well, it's massively important. I think me as an intercultural filmmaker or communicator, I would like to share all these Chinese 5,000 years or even 10,000 years of history with foreign friends. And it is through the Chinese food, actually, that everyone loves. They understand Chinese culture, but they really need to get a connection with China's past through all these books or films or events, parade or performances, music or operas, and all these elements are excellent. So New Year's or Spring Festival is a perfect timing for everyone to get to know China in an intimate way, personal way.
Joanna Lei, does that work the other way, do you think? It's a case of foreigners, overseas people being able to understand China better. Is it a chance for China to understand the country that these people are living in better too?
Well, absolutely. Cultural exchanges are always two-way. I remember when I was a graduate student in Philadelphia, my first year there, we put on a cultural show to the biggest shopping mall called King of Prussia. And then all the people came to see a glimpse of Chinese history through the costume show, but also for all the participants, the players, the dancers, to experience the first-hand U.S. hospitality as well. So cultural exchanges are always two-way.
Professor Tung, we're saying goodbye to the dog. We're saying hello to the pig.
Yep.
What's the difference between the year of the dog and the year of the pig?
Well, the dogs can experience multiple challenges and remain very loyal. The pig may not. The pig can be very funny, the pig can be very mischievous, the pig can also be very focused, but either way, I mean, I hope that the year of the pig shall be a year of prosperity, a year of fun, a year of, once again, the kind of unity and cohesion so that the nation may survive and thrive, especially against the larger backgrounds of the world right now.
But I think what's really interesting about these signs is that it's not just a way of marking, like a calendar. Right. This year is the year of this, this next year is the year of this. The Chinese actually take the characteristic of that animal and give that characteristic to the year itself, don't they?
Right. And also this human touch, I think. I mean, the year, well, once again, is not just a timing or special or just a particular time slot, but it's almost like a space or a stage on which that the humans are supposed to perform and perform well. And for a human being to survive and thrive, you need to inherit or you need to carry on that very animal spirit. I mean, for example, when the pig and when the dog and the pigs are involved, you need to be, for example, optimistic in time of difficulty. You need to show that very sort of strength in times of hardship. And so in this sense, animals are the embodiment of human value that we actually imposed on that, perhaps. But we also need them to rely on for inspirations.
But we have a year of the rat and we have a year of the snake.
Right.
Do you look for positive qualities from a rat and a snake, two animals that are traditionally not regarded very highly?
Well, absolutely. And take, for example, the animal sign or the dragon. The dragon can be extremely kind of a ferocious looking at one point, but then dragon can also be very, very powerful, and you need the power and the strength to overcome any whatever part of the challenges and difficulties. And with the rat, for example, even if you're small, and you need the kind of a stamina, you need the strength, and perhaps you need the smartness of a rat.
Joanna Cheng in New York. It seems to me that it's very important which year you were born in. People are saying to me now, oh, I was born in the year of the pig, so this next year is more special for them than it is for other people. Is that right?
Well, I really, recently fell in love with the animal pig. You know, pig is a symbol of abundance, symbol of fertility, symbol of renewal. You know, the pig is very productive. They're never dwindle, their numbers. They're always multiply in such a fast way. And this pig is very much sometimes misunderstood, and they have negative reputation. So I think we need to redeem pig because they are actually very intelligent animals, and they are actually as intelligent, it is said, as a 3-year-old child. And their sense of smell is even better than dogs. And they're genetically very much close to human. And many scientists and all researchers, they use stem cell of pig looking for cures for human disease. So there is a great variety of characteristics of pig that we did not pay attention, at least I didn't. Now I regained my new respect for pig. You know, people always say, oh, a stupid pig. Actually, it's a very smart pig. And I think even pig can become a pet.
Yeah, and they're actually cleaner animals than most people think. Yeah. Joanna Lei in Taipei.
They're very clean. They are toilet.
Yes, they are. I'm just going to go quickly, if I can, to Joanna Lei in Taipei. What Chinese zodiac sign are you, and how important is it to you?
Well, I'm the one that just passed. I'm a sign of a dog. In fact, the 12 signs are personified characters for the 12 Tiangan, which are the Chinese zodiac, of course. So I think Chinese people are really smart. We give each otherwise meaningless number a particular animal and give all the characters to that animal and allow people to relate to it properly. In Taiwan, there is a tradition that when you reach your own year, which will be your 12th, your 24th, your 36th birthday, you would have to show special care, special reflections, special care. Sometimes people would go to a temple and say a special prayer. It is a very unique ceremony during the year that you were born. It's to celebrate and put tribute to your own sign.
Okay, Professor Tung, final question for you. So I was born in the year of the monkey. What does that say about me?
Well, good for you. You are the king. Remember that very folklore and novel, The Monkey King, the Sun Da-sheng, right? And so you're going to be the king, the powerful, the smart, and also the savior, and perhaps the world.
I'm going to be the savior of the world.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that, I think, is a wonderful...
But you need to learn. You need to travel far to the east, to the west.
Oh, so I can't just be the savior of the world as it is?
Right. You need to learn, and so that to be wise and to be the powerful.
I'm very happy to do that.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to save the world, and I'm going to be wise as I'm doing it. I couldn't wish for a better New Year wish than that. So don't forget, you've got to give me 1,000 kwai. I'm demanding that now.
Give me your WeChat.
I will indeed.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed to my guests, Joanna in Taipei and Joanna in New York. 2 Joannas. What more can you want for Spring Festival? Well, however you're spending the festival, whether you're watching the gala, whether you're eating the traditional jiaozi, and whether you're going home to your family or staying elsewhere, I hope that you have a wonderful time. 新年快乐.